Good evening. Uh,
Hello.
Hello, Elena. Tonight I'm very happy to welcome an actress from England, Italian British actress Elena Mazzoni. Hello, Elena. Come stai?
Hello.
Tutto bene?
Bene. Sì, tutto bene.
Thank you very much for accepting the interview. We've been in touch
Thank you.
many times on LinkedIn. First, I want to ask you, how did you start being interested into acting, and tell me, where did you decide to be based more in London more than Italy, although Italy has a big film and television and entertainment industry?
So your first question. Well, first of all, thank you for chasing me up with my crazy schedule.
Yes,
It's been interrupted by the pandemic as well, so it was a bit
of course.
a funny time. Yes, well, I always loved the arts. When I was little, I wanted to do anything that was related to the arts, and I started with the piano. So I was playing classical piano for many, many years. And then one day I went to the theatre when I was 12 and said, that's what I want to do.
Yeah,
So I started doing any course I could, at school, after school, at university, and I continued professionally. And
yes,
that's for the second question. I always loved London. So when I came here at 14, because I was studying English, so I came for a course in the summer. So this is my home. I want to be here again.
really.
Like simple as that. So as soon as I can, I would go, and I did. So yeah, it was
Yes,
a choice of love
and
for the place.
great. And I think as well in London, is it more accessible to be cast in British or English produced film or television? I mean, also American or other English nationality production. This is correct?
Um, Not sure. It's not easy. It's not easy. And what I noticed since I have an Italian agent, it's actually easier to get cast over there if you speak good English for international
Yes.
productions, although they still want you to have an Italian accent no matter what.
Yes.
So you will have to have an Italian agent, be, possibly based there, or because most of the co-productions want people from the place, from Italy. So they
Yes.
won't think, oh, there will be Italians in London or Spanish people or French people that would just go directly to the country. So that's a bit of a catch-22 for the foreign people that live in, especially European people that live in London. And there's been a big debate as well with equity in terms of representation and how much work we can get. So I don't know how easy it is to access international productions from here.
Yes.
I'll let you know in a few years.
But I see beside television and film, you did several theatrical production. Yeah.
Theatre, yeah.
Yes. And tell me, was this affected by the COVID in the last 2 years? I mean,
Oh
theater
yeah.
in English.
I haven't done anything for 2 years in theatre.
Yes.
Sorry, some
Yeah.
background
But
noise. Yeah, no, sorry, it's a bit hot. No, I haven't. I had to stop I was touring before the pandemic.
yes.
Before March 2020, I was in Australia with my show, Clara, Sex, Love and
Yes.
Classical Music. And it was going great. I had great momentum, and then this happened. So for 2 years, nothing happened. And this year, finally, things are back. And for example, Edinburgh Fringe is full scale, and I'm going with Clara, the show. And we're all very excited and very happy to be back on stage. I haven't been back on stage for 2 years.
Yes. I'm not familiar with British theater. I know the big productions. I've seen some of them on YouTube. They started to release some of them in the last 2 years during the pandemic. But when I was in New York, I attended several Broadway shows, and there are big theaters, small theaters. There are off-Broadway, very, very small, presentation with like 50 audiences. Is this the case as well in London? I mean, you can You can be cast in big production or small scale production like that.
Yeah, we have a lot of we call it off West End over here. So it's
Of
small
West End.
French, yeah. So off Broadway, off Broadway, and off West End, off West End
Yes,
for the tiniest one. But yeah, there's many realities like that in London, and a lot of them struggle to survive. So luckily, most of them are still here, but it's been really hard.
yes. But I've seen as well that your last, I mean, film and television, you starred in a film called Dad 3 years ago, right?
Dad,
And
yes,
also,
Magda's
yes,
film.
and appeared in Killing Eve, and this
Yeah,
is a very popular television series as well.
yeah, I love being on that set. Yeah.
Yes. Tell me, right now, do you have other projects you are preparing or some stuff postponed with the pandemic? And right now, they are boosting it up again, coming back again.
Yeah, so but we managed to do some films at the end of the pandemic. So I did a feature film in October last year in Italy, a short
Excellent.
film back in London in February, March. And now I'm taking Clara, so this is a full-on job. I'm taking the show to Edinburgh, and that's Edinburgh Fringe is full on. There's so much work to do for that.
Yes.
And then where the projects after would be more. So I hope to do a more a UK tour with Clara
Yes.
in 22 and 23, possibly later as well. And I'd like to take you to the US again, but this time before we went to Los Angeles, and this time I'd like to do New York and East Coast if
Yes.
possible. So that's the
Yes.
aim, and contacting people for that. And also I
Yes.
like to transpose the show into a TV show. So that's one of the ideas that me and my director dramaturg been buzzing about. So we might do that if we find a producer as well. And there's a lot of interest about female work. So
Of
the
course.
story is centered on the female genius. So it might be the right time.
Uh,
Who knows?
what is the premise of Clara? What is
Clara
the story?
is a biographical story with fiction, of course, as well in it, about Clara Schumann. So Clara was a fantastic pianist, a virtuoso, and a great composer that we know very little about in terms of composition. And she was married to Robert Schumann, and he's today much more famous than she was at that time. Sorry, the opposite. He's much more celebrated now than he was at his own time. Whilst Clara was very famous, and she actually contributed to him to his fame. And nowadays, we barely know, that she existed, or she's mentioned as, oh yeah, she was the wife of, or she wrote a few lieder, nothing important. But it's completely wrong. And
Yes.
this woman was incredible. So yeah, it's a
Yes.
story, and she's
But
preparing for a date.
yeah. And how long is the theatrical presentation? How long is it? Is it like
The
a
show
three
is
act
60
play?
minutes. Oh,
60
this was
minutes. So it's like what?
sorry. That it's a week. I'm on from the 8th to the 14th of August at the Pianodrome in Edinburgh. So
Excellent.
seven performances.
Do you think its adaptation on television will be like a long series or season or a mini series?
I was
Because even
thinking,
right now, even I see that the big television series, are not like before, are not like 26 episodes, 13.
yeah,
Yeah, right now the drama is condensed, and for me it's favorable, to see a short series rather than an everlasting series.
I was thinking a format of six. So she had a long and very eventful life. So I think six episodes would encapsulate what I like to say. I think six episodes, like the Genius kind of style from National Geographic Channel, something like that.
Yes. But tell me, Elena, do you have some kind of a dream project, other dream project you would like to realize as a performer, and with a different, I mean, background, between Italy, Europe, and England? Do you have some character or some project you would like to work on in the future?
Well, I want to write more, so I want to write more theatre shows. There's one I like to finally start writing properly after Clara, and I would
Yeah.
love to do any. I love independent films, European kind of based film with that kind of entourage at the back. So yeah, any European film and French style film. I love to be part of that kind of world more.
Yes, and I can see as well that beside your work in long features, you work a lot in short films. Do you think this is something you would like to write something for yourself? I mean, your own material in a short film or something? Because right
I
now
did,
there are lots
yeah,
of platforms of short films.
yes, true.
Besides Amazon and Netflix, we there are plenty, and it makes it more discoverable. I mean, short films used to be in the festival circuit only.
It's true. Yeah, no, many friends and colleagues are doing that. I don't know
Yeah,
if it's. I don't know. I know I'm also a writer because I wrote the show and I want to write
yeah,
more, but also I feel like I don't know if it's my format, the kind of thing I easily do. So I don't know. I haven't really thought about it yet, but maybe I will and try and do something. I don't know. But at the moment, I just like to be cast in people's field projects, people that I appreciate, and I share the same vision with. But maybe we're right for that too. I don't know. But for now, it's
yeah.
just one person show style. Let's see, maybe.
I want to ask you: do you think you would like to shoot Clara on video and make it accessible on online in some time? And do you think it's some kind of idea as well? Can we see in the future platforms presenting theatrical production like yours? Uh,
Um, I'm not sure. I'm not a big fan of theatre online
yeah.
because I think otherwise you go and see a movie. The idea
Yes.
of doing theatre is the sharing experience with the audience and the fact that it's always different. Um, so that is something that is really important for me in terms of what theatre means to me compared to what a film means. And maybe when the show won't be, we'll have exhausted all the story and interest. Maybe I will do that. But at the now it's still touring quite a lot, and I like it to take it to so many places. And I think maybe it wouldn't be very, very productive for me to put it online. But yeah, I also think it's better the direct experience, especially with a one person show. The audience
Yeah.
is so important. It's like my partner on stage is my audience with my piano. I really need them.
Yeah, yes, but in my country, Egypt, they used to film theatrical production since the beginning of television,
Oh right.
in the 50s, and of course, it helped to to be like an archive, and also
Mm-hmm.
and also for the audience, and during the 50s as well, when television started,
Mm-hmm.
uh, there used to be in Egypt, the national television used to produce theatrical plays
Mm-hmm.
for, let's say, they do it for a week or two, and they film it, and then they put it on
All right.
on television, and it helped, it helped to preserve, the heritage,
Mm.
because we have lost a lot of the actors and performance of that era, and we have also the habit during Arab holidays to put some kind of comic presentation, because people, they are quite popular. I mean,
Mm.
these theatrical presentation. I've been thinking, it's also some kind of archive and a guide for the next generation about
Mm.
British theater, and as well, it will be inspirational for other artists, not only in England but around the world. They can discover it
Yes, true.
and be more accessible for people who cannot come to England and see you
Mm.
on stage live. This is
Yeah.
the idea. But tell me, you would like to go with Clara to the United States? I mean, Los Angeles, New York, or other part of
Um,
the United States?
well, I did delay in 2019 because
Really?
Clara, yeah, because Clara was me and Stefania Passamonte, the musical director, we recorded the piece. I did the voice and she recorded the music. Because although
Yes.
I play the music on stage, I'm not a professional pianist that can record. So she recorded it properly in full length, and we made an album that was longlisted at the Grammys. So we went to the Grammys in 2019, and I managed to get into a beautiful theatre, the Wi-Fi Theatre in North Hollywood, and I did a performance there within the
Yes.
Solar Festival, which is all about solar performances for one day. And it was great. It was fantastic. Although LA is not the best place for theatre, people don't tend to get so much to the theatre as much as in New York or Chicago. So I think I'd like to try and do Broadway, off Broadway, and maybe the East Coast and maybe Chicago.
Yes.
We shall see. But I'm trying to build contacts and see if I can get anything out of Edinburgh in that sense. That would be nice.
This is great. Yeah, I think it will make a very good it will have a very good reception in the United States as well in England. And I want to thank you very, very much, Elena, for coming live
Thank you.
with us. Best wishes in the next presentations, and your next
Thank you.
project. And once
Thank
I'm
you.
in England, I will consider myself invited to see you live.
Yeah, hopefully. Hopefully I'll be on stage and you'll be come and see me.
Thank
Thank
you very
you.
much, Elena. Take
Thank you.
care.
Have a good afternoon. Bye. Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.